and the code is available on what is it called? This GitHub.
GitHub.
Yeah.
That's right. Specifically, I send you the author that developed some algorithms with C in which he demonstrates it, and also published on GitHub the source code. And then I did you look at the spreadsheet that I made for you?
Yes, I did.
And that spreadsheet I took on purpose. A company like what was the company there, Sarah?
I don't know.
GameStop.
Yeah, right.
GameStop.
Thank you. So I will, and that is a perfect case of a hyperbola or a polynomial, because I want to explain to you stationarity in such plain and simple terms that anybody, any idiot off the street will understand. And that is a perfect example, because you look at the chart in Excel. I'll pop in Excel now and see if I can share with you my screen. And did you share your screen?
No, I haven't shared it.
So let me share my screen with you, and I'll try to. Why does it not let me share? Oh,
You want me to help you?
no, thank you. I clicked share. We'll see if it works. And did you record? Click record.
Yeah, it's recording to the cloud.
Okay.
And it's
Can
free.
you see my screen now?
Yeah.
I think so. I see.
Yeah, but you want to move the Zoom.
No, I want to just open my spreadsheet to
Yeah.
show you a couple of things. So can you see my spreadsheet now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
Yes. So stationarity, what it means is the period before it started going wild with this GameStop. It was a nothing of a company, flat at around. When you look, there are two charts here. There's a top chart that says percent change open equals to Y, right? And the bottom chart that says open is equal to Y. And I wanted to demonstrate to you, first of all, what is the issue of stationarity? In stationarity, several parameters of the data are stationary. And that is the assumption of a regression analysis. And when this regression analysis assumptions are violated, there is a huge discrepancy between polynomial and linear. So I wanted to demonstrate you in this chart. This chart that I'm moving now, you see that?
Yes, I do.
That is the open, but that is the raw data. GameStop Corporation, and they hover around zero, about $20 per share. All of a sudden, in the last period, you see how it goes way up, and you see what way is the polynomial, both linear. This is about consensus forecasting. Both linear and polynomial are rising. Can you see them?
I do see that, yeah.
Very good. Now, I wanted to show you why is it a huge advantage to somebody like you that may be able to understand what is stationarity and take advantage of it.
Right.
Because then there will be no consensus on the same data. The only difference, I made a percent change instead of the raw data.
Right.
And tell me, what do you see, which way is the polynomial going? That's right, exactly. And most of the traders, they use only linear regression or linear trend analysis, not realizing that it gives you the wrong direction.
Right.
So the last day of the data here, you can see it at the top. What can you read? What was
Friday, January 29th.
That's right. And so from Friday, I made the forecast for the next Friday.
Right.
And I don't know if I send you a note, short GameStop. Because according to that polynomial, it is due to go down substantially between last Friday to next Friday.
Yep.
And I haven't checked it recently, but I checked it on Monday and they lost a good chunk of money already. And I suspect that it will lose even more. So that is what I wanted to show you.
No, that's perfect. This is exactly what I understand from what you've shown me before and stepped me through. So
Yeah.
I'm rather keen to get this moving into my work.
So
Yeah.
this, and I wanted to show you also the R squares. Look at the R square
Yep, I see it.
of the raw data better than 90%.
Right.
And look at the R square of the polynomial of the change percent open.
Yeah, fairly over 20%.
That's right. So 70% drop is ginormous. But if you are going to trade, on which one should you trade? You should trade on the one with the low R square.
Right.
Ideally, you want to get now those both regressions are on the same period, which is not relevant, because what you should have done is do it like I explained to you before, in a short period that will reflect and everything has to be redrawn, like you already discovered. And these are the type of things that the Brownian motion algorithm takes care of. And therefore, it is not subject, you circumvent the problem of stationarity, but you want to know about it because all the traders will go the wrong way. And you want to go the right way, when all of them go the wrong way until they realize it, and then you want to get out because then everything will turn around.
Right.
So what will happen with the GameStop? It will keep going down, and a lot of people that didn't realize it, they thought, oh, this is going to go up for a little longer, and I'll get in.
Right.
And of course, it turns around, and those that are smart shorted it, you know.
Right. Right. No, again, this is why I'm kind of keen to get this code up and running and start playing with it in the environment that I work in, and see how it does. And I'm kind of excited to do that.
So in another thing that I wanted to explain to you concerning this IT Palooza, I just submitted to them something, and I'll send you if they're accepting us, because it's a competitive bid, and now they cannot do the physical meetings.
So it's easier to bring you in.
So it's easier to bring you in. You'll be just like everybody else.
Right.
And there will be no issue of a university preventing us from broadcasting or inviting you, because we are doing it. Everybody is at home.
Right.
Also, they used to get a lot of money by vendors placing booths at the university. Booth. You understand what I mean? Booths.
Yeah.
All the big vendors like Microsoft that are looking for programmers set up a booth, and we're trying to recruit our students that were in computer science and programming types. Now they have to do it in a virtual conference. And nobody wants to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to be honest. So they really have to screen the speakers to make sure that the speakers are really good, because it will be broadcasted live worldwide, and the vendors won't pay them unless it is really attended well and the quality is good and so on. So I'm not sure that they will accept us, but if they do, it will be good, because we can test some of the things that we are trying to test.
Right.
No, I think it would be great.
Including doing simultaneous live broadcast. Did you go live on YouTube there? Okay. So the idea is to do a conference with them, and at the same time open it to the World Wide Web on the same machine. So repurposing our presentation to the rest of the world and so on. The same idea that we are trying to replicate in the classroom and so on. So I wanted to give you a little glimpse into the future, that what will happen will be a wide, very competitive market, unlike now, that every university of idiots, like a Santa New University, is trying to compete with Harvard, and will be like Wild West. Nobody cares. You can be living in Honolulu and teach at Harvard, and you can be living next to Harvard and teach at the University of Harvard. Eventually, nobody will care, nobody will know, What will matter is what you are doing,
Yeah,
and
content, yeah.
the content, and in real time. People will be able to audit 50 top universities in real time, come into the class for a minute and exit, unauthenticated, anonymous, and then, which is what we have been doing for years. And then if they want to actually register, they click a hyperlink and they go through the registration, and then they can get a degree and so on.
Right.
So this is what we have been researching for years. Of course, we didn't know about the virus that accelerated everything the way that it did. But basically, this is the story. So I'm coming back to another thing that I sent you about a Word document, and I don't know where it is now, but if I can open it, I'll try to find it, about Ninja Trader and get it. This is the document, and including in it, I called it Ninja Trader 8 Network Trade Replicator, and also responding to your email.
Right.
So first of all, I wanted to go through it and mention some of your questions. So first of all, you made some comments and questions. The difference between the enterprise, there is some secret about this enterprise, because even though we have it, they wouldn't tell us exactly what's the difference, but we know that it is better. So I did some searches and I found that some people infer that it is like Microsoft, the enterprise versus the pro and the different operating systems. So the enterprise have a few system enhancements that the pro, the others don't, which is better security, and it can use more RAM, and you can do mirroring, which is that term of what you're using is not exactly the common term. It's called mirroring, server mirroring. So with the server mirroring or server copying, I can have an algorithm running on my server, and I can let you copy it in near real time. So even if you day trade, it will be a few milliseconds later.
Right.
Unless you do high frequency trading, which you are not doing, it won't matter. And what I said to you basically here in this yellow comment, can you read, can you see that?
Yeah.
That let's test it. The only way to find for sure is test it, and we can try and test it and find out. Then I did a search on the replicator that you mentioned, and I just wanted to show you some articles. This has been around for years and years. For some reason, in Israel, they've done it with binary options. And there were a huge number of frauds, and they had boiler room situations that the people were selling options. They didn't know even what is an option.
Right. They were selling it anyway. Right.
They were selling it, and they just took the money from investors. They didn't. They confused them, and they didn't even trade anything, and they gave them some, and these are the companies. eToro is one of them. AvaTrade. These are the top ones that are actually using what is called copy trading, and there are comparisons among them and so on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read through all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, mirror trading is what it was. Mirror trading strategy. So some people published articles, and some third parties in Ninja Trader are publishing an add-on that you can incorporate it in your strategy. So I showed you some of these articles here.
Right.
Then some articles against it. This guy, by the way, I wanted you to know about him. Has a website that is called Mirror Warrior Trading. With my accent, it's a little hard to say. He's a very successful day trader that developed some kind of college and so on. And he was trying to do mirror trading. He has a huge number of followers and customers. And he wrote an article about the problems of disadvantages. By the way, the plugin that is used in Ninja Trader enables you to apply your strategy to different companies, different markets. Let's say that some of them are claiming, like Joe Garcia, for example, that his strategy will run the same strategy on futures, on commodities, on currencies. So he can take this strategy and run this incorporate this plugin and apply to different markets in real time without having to do much.
Right.
Because you know how those traders show you 300 screens and each one is running a different strategy, and they're trying to copy and paste. And of course, when you have 5 minutes holding period, by the time you get through the computer, the trade is over.
Yeah, way over, right.
So then the plugin was designed for them so they can run it once, and the plugin takes it and automatically applies the strategy to all the markets and so on. And that is concerning the very short term, how you should grade the R square.
Right, yeah, I did read through that.
Like a grade school, but the problem is when you are dealing with difference data, the whole scale is different. All of a sudden, 20% compared to 0 is very good. And especially when it goes in the opposite direction.
Right.
So here I showed you one guy, a ninja trader that is very good. He's one of the developer team. His name he did a webinar about AI, and this is this is what I wanted you to understand. I don't know what you are doing until now, and I don't really want to know. So in this way, I cannot share it with anybody, and you can rest assured that I don't know. But from examining it without really ever understanding what you are doing, it is very similar to a webinar that he did. And the reason that I'm so pleased about it, because this guy has inside information to all the customers of Ninja Trader.
I see.
And he was doing something similar to you, which really struck me, because this is something that you are doing anyways, that you are messing with what they call the strategy builder. So you don't have to code, but then when you want to take the code, you can take the code and edit it.
Right.
So my idea is to do something that you are doing, but I don't want to miss the programming people, because they're very important, especially if the rocket scientists like this retired rocket scientist that was a guest speaker in our classes. What's his name, sir?
Perry.
Perry. There has dozens and dozens of algorithms and books. And if you can get somebody like him online and work with you, first of all, he can fix a lot of the issues, but more importantly, he has millions of followers. What this guy did, this Barrett, and I'm mispronouncing the names on a regular basis, so maybe Brett is the name. This was a presentation about AI strategy, which is what we are presenting, because one of their tracks is AI and machine learning. And here he gave a presentation, and he wanted to start from day traders that like to have lots of trades. So he says, okay, I will give you a simple algorithm for starters, 2 higher highs and 2 lower lows, and that will trigger the trade. So here he did it, and of course it wasn't very profitable, but it was working.
Right.
He crashed the system once or twice, but he got it to work. So I made for you screenshots in case you couldn't understand what I'm saying. And then another thing that he was showing on the same video, which I cited here, is the day of the week.
Yeah.
Remember that we discussed it? For example, you don't want it to trade on a Friday, right? Just an example. I'm not revealing any secrets. I'm just explaining to you what he has done and how it is maybe relevant to what we want to teach. If you are doing this, you are catering also to programmers, because the non-programmer doesn't have to deal with the next step, which is taking the code and really modifying the code. And but everybody else can understand that it can understand days of the week, right? And then it goes further, hours of the day. And I didn't have time to do a much more thorough job, so I'll just quickly scan through it and try to articulate what it is that I was trying to show you that is relevant to you and to us. Optimizing for a time of the day. So in other words, once you decide that you want to do it for lunch or whatever, then you can optimize
I think you said
without
that.
over-optimizing it. And then he showed it to you here on the dialog box, step by step, how he took these strategies and added more components, which is what the way that I code, I make very little changes and test every change, which takes forever and is really annoying. But this way I can ensure that this one tiny change, I know what it created and so on.
That's exactly what I do. So yeah.
Okay. So this is what he prescribes. And he got a huge amount of questions. Then concerning duplicate instructions, when you, some of the developers got this error message that we got when we took your strategy with the regression and we tried to load it, it found their regression and it found that there were some duplicates and it crashed the Ninja. So traders were asking exactly this question. For some of which he didn't have answers, so it said they put it online and I will answer it later, which is another story. Day of the week I already described, but here he was doing a demonstration of the day of the week. And then another issue is this mountain time or your time or my time.
Yeah, which time is it?
Is a very important issue. So what will be nice is for the machine to recognize your clock time and adjust it in real time without the user having to deal with it. So those are things that I think that you should incorporate. So I'm a user in Miami and you are a user in California and the third one is Saudi Arabia.
Right.
And they don't have to worry about it because they only have to know to run a strategy. And for the students, it's very important to teach.
I'll give you a little example of that time problem. I had a client that was running my strategies. He was actually in Italy, I think it was, on his laptop. And the laptop was set to the local time, but he went on business, to London. So he's asking me, do I change the time on my computer to London time or should I leave it to the Italian time? I'm like, well, let me think about that because I'm not exactly sure.
It's a good, but it's a good question.
It's a very good question. Yes, it's a very good question, and it pertains also to together tracing, because we travel all over the world. So when we are here in Miami, the phone immediately recognizes that we are in Las Vegas and immediately adjusts the time. And so the algorithm is sensitive to that, and it knows, okay, so that was, and the global positioning is active, so it knows, okay, this is Las Vegas. I can check in the table of times whether what is the Las Vegas time and check your clock and see if the machine adjusted the clock or not, and all kinds of things like that, that for the purpose of tracing, it's important. When I go to Las Vegas and do this Chinese booth, the global positioning shows me what building I'm in and shows me this Chinese all with the masks, and I don't know that they are infected. They know about it. We don't. And I invite him to the front desk, and he sits in the back of the booth, doesn't want to come. And we talk with our multiple accent, nobody can, and his face is covered, so I cannot even see his mouth.
Right.
So anyways, that has to do with the improvements that it does to the algorithm, greater or equal. I'm going to less than or equal, designing the if-then statement to deal with the trigger. And then the numeric value concerning the R square. So he explains here how you can put an R square. So I made for you an example. If R square is greater than or equal to 30, it is very bad unless it is it's changed. And then you have to change the scale. Okay. So then he goes into setting it up and setting up greater than and less than.
Right. That's exactly what I've done. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So what I want you to do is things like that in programming, that when you code it into the dialog box, you can explain it and it doesn't reveal anything proprietary, yet it is something that everybody can understand and see.
Okay. So it's time up, Bobby.
Okay, let me just wrap it up. So here is using ADX, rising. And this is what I was telling you about more than a year ago about rising or falling. And he was demonstrating it and he brought up the strategy using AI. It is called AI Generate, to where it was quite profitable. Using, in this case, ADX rising, or I said to you, R square rising, it's the same construct programmatically and conceptually. So it's a rising enter if R square is falling exit, type of thing. So another thing that he showed that is very useful, I don't know if you are aware of it or if you are using it, is to edit on the chart. Not having to go into all the steps to the editor every time you want to make a minute change. And this way you can test a lot of changes very rapidly and make it easy, especially to people that they have a mental block against coding, and becomes a lot more obvious. So he was demonstrating how you can circumvent having to go to the editor. And also another thing is, of course, having to go to this Microsoft Monster Visual Studio. It takes an hour to load it.
Yeah, I know. And it's totally redundant.
But a lot of it has fantastic advantages. But so it's important for a developer to learn about it, especially if they have a free version.
Right.
Then you go to AI Generate. His name is, can you read it? I'll make it larger.
Brett.
Make it louder.
Oh no, we are also tasting and testing automated transcription real time. So this is what the transcriber interpreted. Brett de la Parrot. So here you can see the live, the automated transcriber, okay? And then I wrote down later this email. It is.
You cannot see anything that you're showing of it.
I read it for you. Sarah says you cannot see it.
No, you can't.
But you understand Brett de la Parrot, right?
Yes, I do.
No, but when you're sharing.
And here he shows the code of the AI generator that generates the strategy.
Maybe I'm going to make that a little bit larger, Avi, that
Don't
word.
I don't have time. Here is his real email address. So I wanted to explain to you.
Yeah, Brett
The
Barrett.
machine took the bread, they got okay, but the Barrett came out.
Yeah.
With the rate.
De la Parrot.
As we speak, by the way, I record myself on what is called the voice tracer, which is an audio recorder that has a Dragon Naturally Speaking built into it and gives you to teach foreigners like myself to speak, that the machine can transcribe you in real time. It has a built-in Dragon Naturally Speaking. Anyways, it's an issue because my idea is to generate a book from it without you having to spend any writing.
Right.
So get this script and find interns that are willing to work for free to get experience to do editing work and so on. As we have developed in our class, when you visit the class, Sarah is a crew of half a dozen ex-students that are working as free volunteer teaching assistants.
I'll think he did say. I'll think
To
he did
learn,
say.
you know, and that's the idea, to give them a first shot at it, and so on. Then I cited for you a few other things about copy trading. This woman did a video about copy trading, and this is called Trade Copier, and dozens of them in response to your question about the risks and everything that is associated with it, so that that you understand that I was dealing with your questions. I just didn't have enough time. This is another one, Ninja Trader. Trade Copier, this is the plugin that I told you about. It is called Apex Investing. Are you aware of what they are doing?
Yeah, generally, the FX markets is not something I'm into.
No, it doesn't matter. What you are into is the Trade Copier.
Right.
And the idea is the same. It's just another market. And they took the time, they're already marketing it as a plugin for several years, and they have it for different environments. I don't know about the latest or greatest, but
Okay, I'll
this
go
is,
take a look at it.
yeah. And this is about you and the video that you sent us about the smart.
Right.
So I reviewed that, and it's a little hard to get the details of what they are doing, because they are doing it without audio, and
Right, I know.
and they're trying to hide the proprietary information. So for somebody with arrows and all kinds of things, you can get a whiff of it, but not exactly what they're doing. Which is no wonder that you're asking me, and I'm looking at it. It doesn't as much as you are. I think it is a good idea, but I think that
Well, I think the basis of that is that you have to actually subscribe to their remote server services.
right.
So if you subscribe to it and I subscribe to it, then my server can actually duplicate the trade on your server, which is on their systems. I think that's what that's about, because each one is a virtual machine on their.
That's right. That's what I understood, and I'm very interested in it because it is a little similar to the concept of blockchain.
Right.
Because what they are doing is they're chaining. That way, they take the load off of their server. If I have a server and I'm chained to your server, I take the load of their server, because if you have 1,000 people hit their server with this technology, it will bring down a monster, and they cannot afford to pay for it either, and the execution will be so slow.
Yeah, exactly.
And forget about it. You know how they say in the mafia movies, forget about it. So that is the reaction of what I wanted to tell you about it. The problem with it is if you don't have the enterprise version that can handle, from what I understood, 64 terabyte of RAM or something humongous. So, you know, for large institutions like a Fidelity that has millions of traders hitting their server in real time. Another issue was the bid and the ask. I don't know if you ever thought about it. Are you familiar with NinjaTrader and the bid and the ask prices?
Well, obviously familiar with bid and ask prices, but you've couched it as NinjaTrader. So.
Yes. So, did you know that NinjaTrader allows you to look at real-time bid and ask prices?
Yeah. I actually monitor those for my trade.
Okay, so that's what I wanted you to be aware of it. What happened with the situations like now they went to silver, you know, with the GameStop. So that would be also very useful to incorporate it. And what did he say? This Brad demonstrated it and explained the streams. Excuse me. How you can monitor those streams, calculate the difference, and use some indicators that deal with it and incorporate them into your strategy. Which
I use those all the time.
So I thought that it would be useful for you to take a look at it and model what he's doing. And the reason that it is so important, because he knows what the bulk of the traders is interested in, because they get the data worldwide from all the traders, and accordingly they feature those webinars.
Right.
So if we can take what you already know with zero marginal cost to you, which you're sitting there and doing it a million times, and we can test it on us first. If we cannot follow it and understand it, like any idiot off the street doesn't have a chance. But if we can go through us and then go through our TAs and then test it on the students, and it's still not good enough because these are college students as opposed to every idiot in the street, which we are targeting. If we can do something that applies to all of them, that would be fantastic.
Right.
So that is basically, and then a couple of other things that I sent you that I already don't remember what they were.
The Brownian motion.
Oh, the Brownian motion, yeah. So
Right. So
the Brownian motion, let me see if I have it here. This article that I sent you about the Brownian motion. I don't remember where it is now.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to call it a day. then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we're
not-
running out of time too. But anyways, the basic couple of ideas. It circumvents the problem of the
Stationary.
stationarity. You have the source code available. You have a lot of academic articles about it, explaining the physical phenomena like you describe it with oil and water.
Right.
And more importantly, articles that correlate that to the exchanges and the indices, which is what I sent you.
Right.
So we can talk about it another time, but I wanted just to throw you a bunch of topics that we were dealing with so you'll understand.
Because it's 1:15 already.
Yeah, so that's it.
All
Okay. Well, you're feeling okay. Keep it
right.
up.
Well, I got a lot of reading to do, a lot of homework.
Tell him to be well.
I'm gonna be working on that in the next few days. And once I start having a response on some of those things, I'll get those out to you. You do have my current strategy that you can't run, but you have to have a live data feed for the live part. So that's, you know, I don't know how we get past that.
Yeah, no, I think that we have a live feed to some of those things, but I'm not sure if we have it to the market that you are doing it on which market? On the S&P 500?
It's the S&P 500 futures contract.
The futures, you remember?
So the subscription for that is the CME exchange subscription indicator.
I'm not sure. Can you check if we have it or not?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
We did it already.
We did it already, she
Yeah.
said. So when you
Okay.
can, what will be the best thing is to try to see if we can run it on simulator mode in real time, and if you can run it in noon, so we can try to run it ourselves and then run it off of the. By the way, he gave the presentation, and some of the developers asked the same questions that you asked about the discrepancy of the clock and the discrepancy between real time and the replay. So all those issues, they asked questions about it, just the same questions that you asked. And he gave some comments, some of which he said, I'm not sure.
Well, I'm sure, because I've actually lost money thanks to the discrepancies. That's why years ago I moved away from the backtest engine. And the replay was as close as you could get to the real market, as long as you get all of the tips downloaded every day, which is one of the processes that I do. The confidence level is extremely high with replay. It is pathetic with the backtest. Because the backtest makes every strategy look brilliant.
For a good reason, and then you go start trading and losing your share.
So,
Which he explains
very
it,
quickly.
which he explains also, and he warned people, don't let it fool you. And we know those of you who have lost already a lot of money know very well about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, the main thing is let's stay healthy and live another week.
Yeah.
W-E-E-K.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll feel, you haven't, asked him, did you set another appointment? I bet you did, right?
Yeah, for the next appointment,
When is it? Ask him.
must be in a few weeks.
4
Yeah,
weeks.
it's March 1st.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
All right, so let's plan for the next week and hope for the best.
Right. And good thing.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. You want me to shut down here? It worked perfect when you go from the browser.
Fine.
Okay.
Just,
You want me to stop here?
no, because you don't do what I want and you don't document anything.
No, but I can stop sharing with the Zoom.
Fine, stop sharing.
And then I'm going to stop the live streaming.